No way. That's great.
Well, it looks like things are actually far worse than what the beer industry wanted to report to you. In fact, in the post-brand destroyer Dylan Mulvaney era, beer sales in the United States have hit a 24-year low. A 24-year low. At a time when there's never been more people of legal drinking age. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you leave a like on this if you agree. Maybe it has something to do with beer no longer representing fun, but a political affiliation. It might have something to do with that. I'm just a regular, Midwestern yokel guy. But, once beer had to start representing political affiliations, maybe people decided, I'm out. And that's why, of course, I started Coffee Brand Coffee, where we're having a year-end blowout sale right now. If you've never tried us before, now is a perfect time to pick up a few items as much as 64% off. We've got these buttery every one of these snacks I stand by. They're delicious. The buttery toffees, peanut bombs, the cashews, the sweet, spicy and sweet treat mix, the chocolate-covered espresso beans, the yogurt-covered pretzels, the kettle corn, chocolate-covered sunflower seeds are all ridiculous, and they're super cheap. They're 50 to 60% off. Then we have some coffees, peppermint mocha. We've got our hot cocoa, peppermint hot cocoa. We've got peaches and cream, orange creamsicle, pumpkin pie, vanilla sugar cookie, which people love. All 45, 50% off. And our K-Cups are up to 30% off. And by the way, the Coffee Brand Coffee, the quartering hat is now 60% off. It's only $10. So I'm going to put a link in the description. You can throw a couple things in your cart. And you won't have to worry about it making a political statement. And you'll be supporting me. We're not some crappy drop shipping operation. We roast our own stuff. We fulfill our own stuff. And we love our customers greatly. And we don't care how you vote. Link in the description. As billions of people across the globe look forward to the dawning of a new year, few attendees will be as happy to say goodbye to 2023 as Anheuser-Busch InBev, the parent company of beleaguered beer brand Bud Light. Over the past several months, Bud Light has seen itself unceremoniously dethroned as America's best-selling beer and relegated to the undesirable position as a nation's symbol, in the most prominent symbol in the culture war. Well, yeah, that's what they wanted, though. That's what they wanted. Once proudly held aloft by sports fans across the United States, bottles of the beverage were suddenly shunned in favor of any other beer. People filmed themselves tipping the contents of Bud Light bottles down the drains. Some gleefully shared photos of deeply discounted, though still unsold packs of Bud Light. Those who can recall, this all stemmed from Bud Light partnering with brand destroyer, woman face user, as many believe, Dylan Mulvaney. For a small campaign, the company gifted Mulvaney, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't a small campaign. They paid her like $200,000. $200,000. Between March 1st and May 31st, the stock fell from $66.39 to $53.20, a 20% drop. But there's even more. You have former executives speaking out. Then there's continuing backlash. 6 months after the Bud Light controversy kicked off, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, also known a.k.a. Mr. Pfizer, a.k.a. Mr. Taylor Swift, learned that the boycott embers continued to burn when he appeared in a campaign for the brand in October. Kelce was ruthlessly mocked. Fast forward to December, things have shown little sign of letting up. A campaign featuring NFL legend Peyton Manning and Pro Football Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith for Bud Light Super Bowl ticket competition also sparked outrage. In Bud Light's new ad, patrons watching Manning as he orders at a crowded bar. He announces a round of Bud Lights is on him for the entire bar in his trademark style. Starts passing cans of Bud Light to people with deep throws, Hail Marys, and perfect spirals without spilling a single drop. As a fan makes a diving catch, Smith appears in the crowd to call a touchdown and joins Manning in passing out more beer. Unsurprisingly, outrage briefly filled timelines on X, formerly Twitter, in reaction to the ad. The outrage appeared to continue working outside of the internet. At the end of October, it was revealed that Anheuser-Busch had recorded a 14% revenue fall in the United States from July to September. Anheuser-Busch's third quarter figure showed 14% decline in the U.S. revenue, along with a 17% fall in sales to American retailers. On top of that, 2023 is the lowest point in 25 years. Bud Light boycotts and plummeting beer sales have brewers crying in their beer. U.S. beer shipments for 2023 are expected to drop to their lowest point in 25 years. They ultimately want you to think that you failed, that the boycott failed. But that's not true. The beer industry has had a brutal year, marked by boycotts against Bud Light, parent company Anheuser-Busch, shifting consumer behavior, and plummeting sales, and it's only going to get worse. U.S. beer shipments dropped more than 5% over the first 9 months of 2023, according to data compiled by Beer Market Insights. By the end of the year, shipments are expected to fall to their lowest level in 25 years, the Wall Street Journal reports. Well, how many of your favorite beer brands have decided to get political over the last year? We certainly know Miller Lite, Coors Light like to have their Pride cans, which most people have accepted. You got, Dana White selling out and telling Americans to buy gallons of Bud Light, and people making fun of him. The boycott against Bud Light is bigger than just Bud Light when you have that big of a drop. Part of this is due to a long telegraphed shift in consumer tastes as consumers, especially younger ones, ditch alcohol over health concerns. Gallup, which has asked American adults about their alcohol consumption since 2001, found in an August survey that adults under 35 years old were the only group to actually lower their consumption. Gallup also found that although beer is the most popular type of alcoholic beverage among Americans, that the status is in decline as liquor gains ground. In addition, consumers have more options, often substituting canned cocktails and non-alcoholic beverages for beer. As National Beer Wholesalers Association CEO Craig Purser told wholesalers in October, this is an industry-wide 5-alarm fire. The only way we're going to fix it is to run toward that fire with purpose and a plan. Well, maybe making beer fun again would do a thing, would help, would perhaps help that. You see this article from Outkick. Beer sales in the United States have declined to a 24-year low as Gen Z and millennials sit in their apartments playing video games and ordering DoorDash. Here's a proposal to reverse the trend for beer brands. It's time to bring back the fun. I mean, sure, Modelo, it's not all Bud Light's fault why U.S. beer sales are lagging behind big time. Gen Z isn't hooking up. They're not getting married. They're blowing all of its money on sports gambling. Gen Z has a disturbing number of members who love Osama bin Laden. Gen Z isn't buying houses. Gen Z isn't dating. Gen Z is drinking less and less beer. One of the bedrocks of society in the United States. Instead, Gen Z thinks it's cool to eat mushrooms, play PlayStation 5, and order DoorDash. By the way, don't care about that. That's fine. It's fine to take mushrooms and play PlayStation 5 and order DoorDash. What's wrong with that? According to a recent University of Michigan study, the number of college-age adults who aren't drinking has risen from 20 to 28% over the last 20 years. That's a good thing. But they're eating mushrooms and smoking herbs. 69% of people from 18 to 24 say they prefer weed to alcohol, according to New Frontier. That's basically always the case, as far as I know. I always knew way more people that smoked herb than that drank when I was like 18 to 20. The beer brands are countered by offering THC-infused iced teas to steal back some of the market share. Boston Beer introduced mango green tea earlier this year that has 5 milligrams of THC and it's, quote, non-carbonated and formulated to minimize any cannabis taste or aroma. I like the cannabis taste, by the way, and aroma. By the way, have you been to any major city where it's legal now? The whole city stinks like herb. And I like it. I like the smell. But you go to any major city where it's legalized now, it reeks. The whole city reeks like weed. I mean, I think that, part of it is nobody that drinks beer looks like that. Spring break isn't really a thing anymore. All this kind of stuff, But I think at least part of it has been that the beer industry has decided, hey, we want to make sure that you are picking a political position when you buy our beer. We don't want to run on quality. We don't want to run on price. We don't want to run on value. We want to sell you our beer based on whether or not you like trans people. And that's essentially what, Bud Light chose to do. And now people are like, I don't even want that. Is it all the Dylan Mulvaney thing? No, of course not. But I'd say I would too call this a 5-alarm fire. Interesting times going into 2024. Suck it, Bud Light.